Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The start of rookie minicamp is underway for the Houston Texans, and in this video, we're going to break down all the news, notes, highlights, analysis from day one, right? And obviously right here, you see Jayden Higgins and Jaylin Noel kind of going back and forth. The teammates in college are now once again teammates here in the NFL, and things are going to get really exciting. Obviously, Jayden Higgins wearing number 81, Noel wearing number 82. These guys are going to be, that chemistry is translating right to the NFL. Before we dive in, you're going to see some names up at the top left of your screen. Make sure you follow these guys on Twitter or X, because without them, these videos are not possible to make. So go follow them for all the news, notes, analysis, highlights immediately. With that being said, let's dive into some day one of rookie minicamp. All right, here's some more clips of some offensive linemen, rookies, second-year players. First of all, second-round pick, Ariante Ursi. He's out here, getting familiar with some of his teammates. You also see some other guys as well, just putting in some work. Ladarius Henderson, I believe he was a 7th-round pick of last season, but these guys have a lot of work to do, right? More so than, Ariante. Ladarius Henderson is a guy who needs to work to make this football team, needs to grow as a player, and he said, you know what, I want to take this time to better myself. I want to be here during rookie minicamp, but there's some other guys I'm excited for. First of all, Woody Marks. We'll see a little bit from him, Graham Mertz, right, and some of these other guys as well. All right, back to some more footage from Jayden Higgins and Jaylin Noel. Now, obviously, these two guys are different wide receivers. Jayden Higgins is more of that big body, go up and get it type of guy, while Jaylin Noel is a guy like Christian Kirk. I guess you can compare him as more of a slot, underneath type of receiver who can make plays after the catch, which is huge. Now you add that depth. Last year we saw a lot of tough positions for this team, right? Not only do you have injuries to Tank Dell, but Nico Collins missed some time. You just, had a lot of guys not active. Now you bring in two rookie wide receivers and Jayden Higgins and Jaylin Noel. You bring in Christian Kirk. You still have John Mechie. You have Xavier Hutchinson. Justin Watson comes over from Kansas City. Braxton Berrios from Miami. That depth is just so much better right now. And right here, you see 3 rookies. 2 drafted, 1 UDFA. This is Daniel Jackson, I believe, a rookie from this past draft who was not drafted, and they bring him in for a workout. Now, here's your first look at running back Woody Marks. I expect him to be the guy right behind Joe Mixon. I think he's going to start off maybe a little bit low in the depth chart, but I think once you see this guy work in not only rookie minicamp, but training camp, when you get to see those pads on, when you see his vision, but how hard he is to tackle. They draft this guy in the 4th round. I expect him to be an impactful player, maybe even year 1, a ton of reps. And especially if Joe Mixon was to miss a game or 2 here or there, I think Woody Marks is a guy that they love to have, and this is someone every Texan fan should be excited about. Now, here's a little bit more footage. He's working with a running back coach here and just going through technique. Again, because it is just rookie minicamp, there's no pads, there's no contact. Running backs are the hardest position to kind of evaluate during this period. But I'll tell you right now, if you go watch this film, you guys are going to understand what I'm saying. This guy's going to be a unit in the NFL, and learning behind Joe Mixon, learning behind some of these guys, this coaching staff who does a great job with running backs as well. I think he's in really good hands right now. So, again, you can't learn too much at the running back position with no pads. You can't see him behind the offensive line. You can't see him work through contact and whatnot. But, again, I guess you guys are going to have to trust me. Woody Marks has a lot of potential. Another interesting player here for the Texans is 6th-round pick Jaylen Reed. They also have another nickel that they drafted in the 3rd round in Jalen Smith. Another interesting prospect, but this guy, Jaylen Reed, he's more of a safety type of player, and when you look at the defense right now, you have CJ Gardner-Johnson, you have Kalen Bullock, but then behind them, the depth is pretty good. Jimmy Ward getting up there in age, MJ Stewart getting up there in age. You need someone to start to develop, and this is the guy that they liked coming out of the draft process, like, hey, let's add this guy in the 6th round, let's not risk it. Let's go get him, and they did. Now, again, just in the learning stages, learning technique, learning the playbook, learning his teammates. You're not going to really see too much here, but again, just trying to look at the footwork, trying to understand how to read the quarterback's eyes in certain situations, especially if you're that free safety, that, midfield close type of guy. This is someone that could get a lot of reps here in, training camp preseason to really earn a name for himself going into the start of the regular season. Now, Before we get any further into some of these rookies, do me a big time favor, guys. Hit that like button. If you want more of these Texans videos throughout the entirety of the rookie minicamp, OTAs, mandatory minicamp, training camp, but also comment down below P2, right? Let me know if you want these videos, but most importantly, make sure you guys are subscribed. It is free. It doesn't cost anything to join the family, and we got you guys covered throughout the entirety of this process, off-season, preseason, regular season. Make sure you guys join the family. Now, here's a little footage from Texans stretching period. Ariante Ursi looks like a massive human being. I mean, you can just look at this guy as he's stretching. I mean, the dude's insane. Big player. Now, the good thing about his situation specifically is he's not going to be asked to be a day one starter. Now, don't get me wrong. He could be a day one starter, depending on how he plays, how he develops, how he looks in training camp, mini camp, preseason, regular season. He could develop into a starter in year one for sure. However, they did bring in Cam Robinson from Minnesota, and I do expect him to be their starting left tackle, when he's healthy and when he's ready to go. I think he'll be their guy, at least for now. Obviously, you have Titus Howard at left guard. You have Jared Patterson at center, Juice Scruggs at right guard, and Blake Fisher at right tackle. But they have a ton of depth, a ton. Right? The most important thing in football is having depth to protect your quarterback. Ariante Ursi adds that. Laken Tomlinson adds that, right? Ed Ingram from Minnesota as well adds that depth. Trent Brown from Cincinnati adds really good depth to this football team at the offensive line position. You even had Jake Andrews from New England as well. Calvin Jerome, 2 centers who they added. But Ariante is someone that just has a massive frame, and I believe that could be a standout player this season for the Houston Texans. Obviously, trading a guy like Laramie Tunsil to Washington, you needed to rebuild this offensive line, that blind spot for CJ Stroud, and they took a gamble that they were going to be able to find a tackle that they could love, or that they could, put in right away and be someone that helps them protect CJ. And they think Ariante is that guy. And to be honest, I do too. All right, we also got to see a little bit more of Jaylen Noel and Jayden Higgins running some routes here, going through some actions. Again, limit your expectations. You're not going to see much during this period. But overall, day one was a success in my opinion. In a little bit of install, a little bit of team chemistry building, a little bit of just understanding the game and working with one another, building chemistry with the coaching staff. Jayden Higgins, Noel, right, Jackson, these guys are going to play massive roles within the Houston Texans offense in year one, at least in my opinion anyway. Now, before we end off this video, let me know in the comments, who do you think will have the biggest impact on day one for this football team? Whether it's a rookie or someone who they just signed, whether it's Christian Kirk or Jayden Higgins or Jaylen Noel, maybe Ariante. Let me know. Woody Marks. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys here that could earn day one starting jobs. And we look at rookies and free agents that they brought in. I think 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4. They could have 4 new starters to this offense going into this season. Maybe Christian Kirk, maybe another wide receiver. You look at Cam Robinson or Ariante will probably be the left tackle. You look at CJ Gardner-Johnson, could be your day one starting safety, or will be, I guess you could say, not could be. And then maybe Jalen Smith. Maybe they move Jalen Petrie back to safety, or we'll see what they do. But obviously a lot of new guys here. We'll see what they do going forward. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.